Oh shit, whoops. Welcome to the Idiot Side Quest.
Hey guys, I'm Leah.
I'm Brandon.
And this week we gonna be talking about some hot takes.
Warm takes?
Lukewarm.
Cold?
No, not cold.
Takes.
Takes. Yeah.
Just takes?
Sure.
Who are we stealing from?
Everybody and anybody.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So, I'm gonna let you start this off because I need to get my creative juices flowing.
Okay, yeah. I tried to get you to put together some hot takes. It didn't really go well.
I don't focus hard enough for it.
God damn it, dude. So just as like a quick disclaimer, I'm gonna apologize because like a couple of mine are based off of the fact that I don't eat meat. So if you get annoyed by that shit, I'm sorry.
Vegetarian hot takes.
Vegetarian hot takes, aka
God damn it. I always try to put vocal effects on the things we say, and then I realize we run into different audio boards.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Hate it.
Which one were you going to use?
I was going to make my voice a little bit deeper and then add a shit ton of reverb to it, and it was just going to be like, hot takes.
Ow, that hurt. But I'll see if I can do it in post for you, okay?
Hot takes.
Oh, God. So, my first hot take is the fact that more vegetarian soups should be available at fucking restaurants. And I'm not talking about, like, chicken noodle soup or, like, Italian wedding soup that, like, traditionally have meat in them, because, like, I get that. That's
yeah, it's
fine.
a meat soup.
It's a meat soup. But, like, something harmless, like broccoli cheddar soup or
any sort of vegetable-based soup that just has, like, meat broth.
Yeah, like French onion. Like, French onion's one of my favorite fucking soups, and I can never order it anywhere because they use chicken stock. Like, just replace it with vegetable stock. One, nobody will fucking notice, and then two, I can eat it.
I feel like it definitely goes, like, very hand in hand as well with, like, when you go to a restaurant and you say you're vegetarian and they're like, oh, we don't really have that many vegetarian options, but we do have all these salads. And then you look at every single one of the salads and it's got either meat itself inside of it, or usually more times than not, it's a meat-based like salad dressing.
Yeah, that was way down in my list. So thank you for knocking that one off for me.
I just feel like it's in the same vein, you know?
Yeah, it's so freaking annoying because, like, granted, like, I don't remember where I was going with this, but whenever I go to restaurants and I, like, look at salads for the menu, literally all of them fucking have meat in them. And one, just in general, like, not just because I'm vegetarian, I feel like meat on salad is weird. I don't like it. Like, it's greasy. Why would I want grease on my, like, fresh, crisp salad?
Not to get too sidetracked already, but I got very sidetracked suddenly at the sudden realization that your sweatshirt you're wearing has an ankh on the front of it and mine has an alien in a spaceship. So can we talk about the fact that aliens built the pyramids?
Yeah, sure, I'm down with that.
Or are we keeping that for like a more cryptid like episode?
I mean, we can talk about how aliens made the pyramids.
I mean, come on, think about it. It just lines up way too perfectly. Even if you did all the math, I don't buy it.
Like, I couldn't do that. Like, it's confusing. I don't get how it was made.
Who knows?
I'm just maybe dumb, though.
I want to believe.
I don't know.
Too. I just made that realization
also, how
suddenly.
How fucking dare you use that saying and you haven't watched X-Files? How dare you?
Because it's a pop culture reference, and just like an AC/DC shirt, you don't actually have to know the source material to know what it's about.
I'm still mad about it.
It's all about a redneck lifestyle, man.
You gotta watch
AC/DC.
X-Files.
Yow!
Get out. Right now. I'm done with you and your shit.
Oh, man.
Also,
my shit's just getting started.
I know it is, unfortunately. You're fucking kidding me, dude. Another hot take that I have is The Prisoner of Azkaban is an overrated movie. I think it's, like, probably one of the weakest Harry Potter movies, but everybody always ranks it at their fucking top. I don't think it's that good.
I think I could see where it comes from in the aspect of I think Prisoner of Azkaban is one of the strongest books. Like,
I also disagree with that.
I think it's pretty, like, it's just a nice little, I don't know. You get the introduction of Sirius Black and
It's
Buck
just
Beak.
like a filler episode, though.
It kind of is.
Like it's
But it's
just
one
a
of those
filler.
fillers that introduces like a lot of characters that you like care about. You know what I mean? You got Lupin, you got Sirius.
Go on.
That's it. Buckbeak.
Okay.
Sorry, Buckbeak. These are characters people care about. But I mean, it's like if you think about Prisoner of Azkaban, those are the three things you think of, honestly.
Katie,
There's
if you're
not
gonna
much
cough,
else to
you
it.
can't be in here.
Sorry, I swallowed my spit wrong.
It's fine.
This
This is hey guys, that's our editor.
She's not our editor. I edit it.
I know.
The coughing that you're hearing in the background, that's our friend Katie. She actually runs our social media, so if you see any shit posting, that's her.
Especially on Twitter.
Especially on Twitter.
But that's what that platform's for, right? It's like Twitter,
Yeah.
when Tumblr went down,
Twitter's where all they
Twitter's
went.
where it all went.
Yeah.
Can my hot take be the fact that Tumblr's never been a good website?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't know. I feel like Tumblr was like the start of like hive mind mentality in a
Yeah.
bit, and then that all moved to Twitter when Tumblr went down, because Twitter used to be pretty good for like memes and just like, you know,
Yeah.
regular conversation posting, and then Tumblr went down and all the shit posting moved to Twitter, and I'm not opposed to it, but not
Do
a fan of
you-
Tumblr.
Do you remember when Twitter like raised that like rabies movement, like talking about how like my sexuality is rabies because I'm like
No.
attracted to rabies?
No.
I
Are you sure that wasn't Tumblr? That sounds like a Tumblr
no,
thing.
yeah, it was Tumblr.
Oh,
Sorry,
Tumblr
did
thing.
I say Twitter?
You said Twitter. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, Tumblr had like there's like a rabies flag, like for like you know how like all of the sexualities have flags.
Stop.
There's a rabies.
I don't want to
flag.
hear about Tumblr. I honestly thought Tumblr was completely gone and extinct, and now Katie here is let me know that it's very much alive still. Still shit posting.
They're living their best lives, I guess. I wonder what like the demographic of Tumblr is like right now. Like, is it still like 13-year-olds just like being like hella sad, like making
Edgy
like,
and aesthetic.
Yeah, edgy and aesthetic, making like random shit posts trying to be funny, or is it people like our age that just like never grew out of Tumblr, or is it like a weird hodgepodge of both?
I don't know. I feel like it's definitely still the younger audience. I feel like Tumblr was like the breeding and raising ground of like, you know, if you became like a fucking, I don't know, if you just grew up and grew like nihilistic, I don't know, you either moved to like, I feel like you moved to other platforms like Reddit for like kind of shit posting memes, and then also just being angry at shit, and then Pinterest if you wanted to go for aesthetic.
I feel like if you were like kind of an edgelord, like to some extent, you either went to 4chan or you went to Tumblr. That's kind of where I am.
Yeah, pretty much.
There we go. Hot take. 4chan and Tumblr are full of edgelords.
I had another hot take. I already forgot it. Go on.
God damn it, Brandon. Oh shit, my phone locked.
Taking notes. Actually
Yeah.
having an agenda.
Yeah, I take this shit seriously. Another one that I have. This is very controversial, and a lot of people are gonna be mad at me for it, and I don't give a fuck. The fact that people get mad about like the Yulin Festival, which is like the festival, the Yulin Festival, which is like the festival where in Asia people kill and eat dogs. Like, it fucking makes me mad because. Don't get me wrong, I don't agree with eating dogs, quite clearly. But I feel like it's very hypocritical of people for people to, like, just sit there eating meat and then, like, ridicule other people for eating dogs. Like, it doesn't really make sense to me because, yes, like, obviously, like, people have a closer relationships with dogs and stuff like that, and, like, they have more feelings and whatever. But, like, cows are social animals. Like, they make friends and companionships just the same as
I was
dogs
actually
do.
just thinking about not exactly the dog thing, but the displacement of people's like idea of like eating meat and stuff like that, as compared to like if they were actually like brought to the farm and like they raised the cow, they live with the cow, and
Yeah.
then they ate the cow. A lot of people like they don't like that idea because
Yeah.
once you know what it is, then they don't want to eat it. I'm just like, well, I mean, it's kind of, you
Yeah.
know,
Hypocritical.
it doesn't really matter. It's if you want to eat the meat, that's where the meat is coming from. That's the animal. So
Yeah, so I mean, like, I don't know. It's just like it doesn't make sense for me because, like, I've seen so many people heated about other people eating dogs when they're eating meat themselves. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It confuses me.
Well, it's like people with the eating horses and stuff too, you know?
Yeah, like, if you're gonna eat meat, what makes a meat, like, not okay to eat?
The only example I can truly think of is eating human meat.
Yeah, yeah, maybe humans.
Yeah, because bad things can happen to your brain if you do that one. So scientifically, it's not even good to do that. Moralistically, definitely not good.
I think technically speaking, if you're being cannibalistic, which not condoning that at all, I want to make that very clear. Mm-hmm. Don't hurt people, and especially don't eat other people. But I think you only are capable of contracting disease if you eat the brain raw. I think. I might be wrong.
I'm not super certain.
But I think I'm right.
I don't know. I didn't come into this podcast today ready to be researched up on all my cannibalism facts, so
yeah, I didn't.
That's
either.
my bad.
Our bad, guys. I'm sorry. I'll make sure we research some cannibal facts for you guys. Maybe we'll come up some with cannibalistic hot takes. I wonder what some cannibalistic hot takes would be like. It's taboo to like eat your friends, or is that all chill in the cannibalism community?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? They got holes in their brains. I think I remembered my other hot take, and I was bouncing off the fact that you were talking about Prisoner of Azkaban, and it kind of refers a recent episode that we had about the new Star Wars movie, but I think in general, the new trilogy, I don't think it's a good trilogy, especially when you like stand it alone.
Yeah, no, it's not
like,
great. Like
4 and 6 rely heavily on the original trilogy for a lot of its like wow and like I don't know. A lot of the factors
8 and 9. Or no, sorry.
7 and 9. 7 and 9 have a lot of moments in them that like 7 is like, oh, there's these old characters and here's the Millennium Falcon, like, oh, there's a nostalgia there. And then in 9 there's also more of that going on. People are like, oh wow, look at that. And especially like the ending when they're at Lars Homestead. I mean, slight spoiler, but not really giving anything away there.
I mean, we did a whole review on it, so.
Yeah. But I think 8 was like the only one that kind of was just on its own. It was just it's all its own source material. I don't remember any hard references other than Luke Skywalker, but he's not there for reference because his reveal reference was in 7, and then in 8, he's just straight up a character. He's a character that plays a critical role. And so, I don't know. I thought if you look at the new trilogy as a whole, I don't think it's really that good. I still need to rewatch it all like at once, but just looking back on all the things I do remember from the trilogy, I just don't think it's as good. If I had to put, I would say it's even before the prequels. I prefer the prequels to the new trilogy.
We know
I think
you prefer we know you prefer
the twequels. Are you saying I spoken
twequels.
rocks?
The twequels. We know you prefer the
I'm
twequels.
smoking rocks.
No. I can't remember what I was going to say. But okay. Another hot take that I have that's pretty similar to this one is Marvel movies suck ass. Real bad.
It's definitely a hot take right there.
It's a right take, let me tell you that. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, they're not original. Like, for the most part, they're carbon copies of one another. They don't take the time to develop the villains, so it's just very anticlimactic. They're way longer than they fucking need to be, and they're just not good movies.
I would say the only exception to the villain part one was probably Endgame. Or not Endgame, the one right before it. The fucking, I don't know. What was the name of the one before Endgame?
There's so many. I genuinely don't fucking know because this franchise is ridiculous.
I'd say the one right before Endgame where it was kind of focused on, like, if you look at it through the lens of, like, it being Thanos' hero story, because it kind of, if you look at it through that lens, it was a neat arc. And then Thor Ragnarok was really, like, well written. But as far as every single other one of them, yeah, like, and I even made the complaint that even that scene in episode 9 was a carbon copy of Endgame's big thing, like almost exact cinematic framing and everything. So I don't disagree on that one. That's definitely a hot take.
Yeah.
A lot of people get passionate about that.
Yeah, and like, I swear to God, like, I think my least favorite thing is like people who are super passionate about Marvel don't want to hear anything bad about it, and they're just like not willing to listen.
Well, I feel like it comes with a...
Which, like, I'm not telling anybody they can't like Marvel if you like
Yeah.
it. Like, that's fine.
No,
But
I'm
I
all
just
for
don't- I
anyone
don't
liking
like-
anything they like. But
Yeah.
I do believe in the whole... Or I do see where you're coming from. There's a lot of people that, if they even have, like, a remote liking to something, it's not being able to see things they enjoy with critical eyes.
Yeah.
Because I can still...
Like,
rip
we both-
apart some of
yeah.
my favorite
We
content
both
in the
like
world.
Domestic Girlfriend, but we can sit here
Yeah.
and say it's like one of the trashiest animes we've ever
Yeah,
seen.
I mean, it's about being able to rip apart some of the stuff that you enjoy, see what is wrong with it, but then also seeing why it's so great to you, and
Yeah.
just things like that. But if you get critical on anything, everyone's very defensive about things.
Yeah, how dare you criticize what I like? How fucking dare you?
I know it might not be as much of a hot take, but I also saw someone was already parroting it as a tweet, but the original tweet, I feel like Twitter's just such a great spot for like finding hot take material, because there's just so many people on there that are just trying to start something for
Yeah.
no reason. But I don't know, I think gatekeeping is shitty. That would be my hot take. I don't even know if it's that hot, but
Yeah.
I know there's tons of people that are like, hey, you're not a real fan of this, or you can't get into this
dude.
unless you've done this and this, and
Yeah, I
you
hate
have
that
to do
shit.
this, and you don't actually enjoy it because of blah blah blah, and that's just stupid shit.
Yeah, like I think like a bunch of like music people are like that too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, you can't like this band. Like, name this song from like Led Zeppelin's 5th album. Like, if you don't know it, like you're not a real fan, bro. Like, you're just pretending because it's like cool now or whatever. Like, nah, dude. Like, somebody can be a fan of like can like one song and be a fan of a band.
Yeah. You're allowed to like what you like as much as you like it, and if anyone says you don't actually like it, then
Like-
you say go fuck yourself.
Bro, dude. Another hot take that I have is people who are fucking condescending about military time can go fuck themselves.
I
Like,
use military time.
I mean, I have no problem with people using military time. Like, I have to use it for my job. Like, I like, it's not coming from a place like I don't understand how military time works. Like, I have to use it every single day. But like, the people who sit there and are like, you're dumb for not putting your phone on military time, or oh, I bet you don't even know what 1700 is. Like, do you know what time that is? Do I need to like explain it to you? Like, I don't like that.
Well, it's just like the whole
It's
confusion.
annoying.
Every time you ever say like 7, then you get hit with the answer of like AM or PM. It actually reminds me of yesterday. I was playing games with a bud of mine, and their girlfriend had to go to the airport, and at their time it was like midnight, and I was like, why the fuck are they going to pick someone up at the airport at midnight? It's because they bought their ticket and they thought they got in at noon, but instead they got
didn't
in
understand.
at midnight. And so I was
Yeah.
like, if you just use or instead of like 12, it's
12, yeah.
so it's, I don't know, it's just things
Like,
like that.
I-
It helps be consistent. It's the same reason I could even piggyback in the hot take that pretty much anything not metric is garbage.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
use Celsius.
I
I
know
don't
you
use
do.
kilometers and things like that just because it wouldn't actually be useful to me, since everything around me is metered in, miles and things like that. But
Yeah.
I'd prefer to go to metric and do kilometers and meters, and it's a system that makes fucking sense.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that military time isn't more practical, because, like, genuinely it is. It
It
makes
is.
more sense. But people who are condescending about it
Yeah.
are dicks.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. People that are condescending about like someone like me using like Celsius, it's just why it doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And also their system of Fahrenheit shit's fucking garbage. What's the boiling point of water in Fahrenheit?
215 or 210.
It's actually 212.
I was fucking close.
You
okay,
were
man?
close, but what's the boiling point of water at Celsius?
Honey.
100. It's so easy. You were so close though.
Another hot take that I have is that cancel culture is fucking stupid.
It's garbage.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, with like Harvey Weinstein, like genuinely somebody who should be in jail. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking cancel them, but they should be in jail. But
I feel like cancel culture in general, it piggybacks kind of off that thing I was talking about with like Tumblr earlier,
Yeah.
in that it's all part of like the hive swarm mentality
Yeah.
of social media. And that's more of a greater critique on social media itself, that there's
yeah,
social media is
think
garbage.
for yourself, man.
I will say. So there's a lot of cool things about social media, but for the most part,
A lot
it's
of
pretty
shitty stuff,
garbage.
yeah.
It's really garbage.
Like, the one prime thing that I can think of is Kevin Hart being, like, canceled as a host because of something that he, like, I can't remember what award show it was for, but it was because some of the jokes that he made, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which, like, granted, like, I don't agree with those jokes, but, like...
But it was a different landscape and targeted material.
If you want to, like, be completely, like, real with people, the... like, comedy, like, 10 years back was all for shock value. Like, that's what comedy was based off of. It's like, how many people can we get, like, upset or, like, whatever.
I mean, that's a big thing with entertainment for a long time, any form of it. I mean, think of Marilyn Manson and Lady Gaga. You know, there's a lot of shock value that goes into those forms of media.
Yeah.
Just because it gets talking, it gets reaction. That's a big thing that people look for, is reaction from people.
And, like, once again, like, I'm not saying I condone his jokes, but once again, they were from over a decade ago at this point, and he apologized for them. And, I mean, quite clearly, he's not making those same jokes now. Yeah. So, you know, cancel culture is basically saying that you don't give anybody the opportunity to grow or change their mind, which, for me, as a person...
I know, I'm very different than I was even 3 years ago, probably.
I'm very different from myself from a year ago. Like, I change constantly. People just change, and that's fine.
That's a part of human nature and behavior and growing and getting older.
I mean, if somebody's repeatedly making the same mistakes, like, obviously there's an issue there.
Donald Trump. Did I say a name? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Did you hear that?
Was that the wind?
Must have been the wind.
Must have been the wind. But, yeah. Allow people to, like, grow. If there's a repeating issue, either they need to be in jail or, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if it's a serious offense, things like that. And granted, there are things that, you know, can happen, especially with personalities online, where it's like, hey, that's really shitty, and that's a lot of cancel culture. But even then, it's just, I don't know. It's...
Yeah.
I'm a big opponent. I don't... Call me a hippie, whatever you want. I'm very against, like, just hateful nature.
Yeah.
In general. Just anything hateful. And granted, this is another... I mean, that could be a big change for me from, like, 10 years ago. I used to be a very, like, angry, hateful person, but... I've learned to grow and figure out that it doesn't fucking matter half the time. And half the things, I'd say that's... I could label that a hot take. I think 95% of what people get pissed about online is about shit that doesn't matter even in the slightest. It's just small shit or, like, you know... why are you so angry?
I think one thing about social media that really fucking just pisses me off is... this is a hot take, is I think it's not specifically the makeup community, but, like, the example that I'm thinking from is
James
the makeup.
Charles?
No, not James Charles, but, like, I don't like him. But smaller creators, like, creating a makeup look or, like, an editing style, and then a bigger creator using that, and then the smaller creator getting upset with them for stealing that, not tagging them.
Yeah.
And, like, I understand if somebody is actually genuinely stealing your content and, like, completely ripping you off and it's not fair use. But, like, if they do a different look or if they do something that's kind of inspired by your editing style, like, obviously it's nice to tag somebody, but also at the same time, somebody can think of something similar and not have ever seen your stuff. And, like, I've just seen people, like, take it so far with, like, oh, you stole my editing style, or, oh, you stole my look and stuff like that, and you didn't tag me, and, like, just blowing it out of proportion. Which, like, I mean, obviously, it can kind of get, like, like, you know, it can go either ways, like, you know, people should credit people, but also at the same time, like, if they don't, just, like, get over it, move on.
Yeah.
This is another hot one, and I feel like any Republican that listens to me say this will be very mad. And if you are, I'm sorry, but this is just my hot take and hot opinion. And if you want to get mad at me, that's totally fine. I don't give a fuck. But I think one of my biggest pet peeves with pro-lifers, which, like, don't get me wrong, if you're pro-life, like, that's fine. I don't personally agree with you, but live your best life. But one of my biggest, like, pet peeves is pro-lifers who are like, adoption's always the option, but like none of them have adopted kids. So you're telling
No.
somebody to contribute to an already fucked up system, and you're gonna sit there and tell them to do that when you're not even like adopting and helping that system.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. That kind of goes in hand. That it's just a lot of people care about too much about other people. It's like having a really nosy neighbor, except when it's online, especially. It's just it that nosy neighbor
none of
is
your business.
right there all the time. It's like someone's standing right outside your window, being like, "Hey, no, don't do that. No,
Yeah.
I know this is none of my business, but don't do that. It would
Yeah.
make me angry, and if I'm upset, I want to make sure you're upset."
Yeah. Also, another one is if you can't like afford a tattoo, don't get it. Like,
Yeah. I think, I mean, you could put that anywhere, because I mean, I'm friends with, and I do a lot of stuff in the
Yeah.
artist community, and I've always been around a lot of artists, and that's a big thing. People wanting
Yeah.
art, whether it's a tattoo, whether
Yeah.
it's just sketches, whether it's anything, but expecting it
at a cheap price.
at a cheap
Or-
price.
I think either I retweeted it or you retweeted it, but I'm pretty sure both of us saw this. But there was an artist who was contacted by an unknown YouTuber. Like, they didn't dox them or anything like that. But the YouTuber basically demanded, like, oh, I want this, this, and this from you. And you have to pay me $50 to do this work for me. And it was like a very detailed list, like something
And it
that
was
would...
deadpan serious.
Yeah. And it's like, so you're asking this person to do something for you when quite clearly, like, their platform is made to, like, help bring in customers for their business. And you're telling them that you have to, or that they have to pay you money to do work
But
for
Leah, what about the exposure?
you. Oh, man.
Please insert a photo of the Oregon Trail right here where you die of exposure. Please insert the photo.
I don't know if I can find exposure, but I should be able to find
Oh, trust
secondary.
me. Trust me. I've seen that picture as a reaction image many a times.
Okay, if I find it, here it is.
Yeah, because I mean, that's also, coming out of the music community, that's something that happens all the time in Nashville. Is just they want you to play bars and gigs, and they don't want to give you bar tabs. They don't want to give you anything. They just want free entertainment.
Yep.
And if you don't want to give it to them, they'll go find somebody else who needs that exposure.
Yeah, exposure is dumb. I
It's
don't get it. Like,
Never work for free.
Yeah. As the Joker says, if you get at something, just never do it for free.
Exactly.
Life advice from the Joker.
We could throw in the hot take here of furries, a hot topic. I feel like it's definitely a topic in which, so I myself, I've gone in and out of the community a lot throughout time. Currently, I'm definitely more of just a bystander, but
Yeah.
still great friends with most of the community
Yeah, and you
kind of
support
people
it.
and stuff. Exactly. But I feel the hot take is that furries in general are viewed with very negative like connotations and light and things like that. And my hot take is like, why? And the big thing I would say is, if I had to like really ridicule it, I think it's because it's one of those pop cultures, because you could even like, something I've often tried to draw the connection to is like, why won't you get mad at somebody for, say, like dressing up in like World of Warcraft, doing cosplay kind of things?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's a costume. It's just like, even
It's for fun.
stage plays, anything like, it's any sort of costume, Halloween. I don't care. It's something that you put the costume on for. And one thing I could draw the line is, I feel like furries overall have managed to keep their subculture pretty uncapitalized.
Yeah.
So nobody makes money and no one benefits from it except furries themselves. And so that in general makes some people angry. But and then I don't know.
I think one thing, sorry to cut you off. One
No,
thing that
go
it
for
kind
it.
of
I've been adding to all the shit you've been saying all this time.
one thing that it kind of is reminiscent of to me is the LGBTQ plus community. Like, I think it's one of those things where I don't really know why people draw this conclusion in their mind, but if you're not like a normal sexuality, or if you're not into like normal sexual quote unquote normal sexual things, that you're either, you know, a molester or you're,
Yeah.
you know, doing sexual deviancies that you shouldn't be doing. And I mean, so
Point
long
all
as...
your point all your fingers at that, and then
Yeah, because you
Close
just don't
the-
understand it.
send the tweet, close it, hating all the furries, and then go to Pornhub and watch German dungeon porn. You know,
Yeah.
normal shit.
That
But
quite
no, and-
possibly could have like a
I have
human
gone-
trafficked people in it.
I have gone back and forth too, and a lot of people, I mean, it's kind of the back and forth too, that being a furry is a sexual thing, and a lot of the times it's not, but there's also a lot of times where it is. But
Yeah.
it's like fuck. Props to you, as long as you're not doing like bestiality or fucked
Yeah.
up shit, like
A-okay.
that shit is fucked. It's
Yeah,
the
no.
same as when we were talking about cancel culture. I mean, if it's not a fucking
So long
a
as it's
crime
with
or a moral
consensual
crime, like fucking
party,
yeah, like
which
you do
animals
whatever
can't consent.
you do whatever the fuck you want, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people give them a lot of hate. Meanwhile, they're pretty much every convention I know about, most furry conventions end up having some sort of fundraiser. I know in the Valley, there's several conventions that go on, and on average, they usually end up over the weekend like raising like $10,000 or something, and they donate it to animal charities in the community. They do
Yeah.
so much like community work. I know sometimes some people will dress up and they'll go to like hospitals, like kids hospitals, you know, and just like
Yeah.
hang out with kids. They just so much positive energy. It's a really good safe haven for like the LGBTQ community. I will say, I mean, just like everyone else though, I mean, they get unnecessary hate. There are fucked up ones.
Yeah, but
There's
I mean,
great
you can,
ones.
You can
They're
say that
people.
about anybody.
At the
like,
end of the day,
yeah.
it's all still just people.
I mean, I can't really speak to the furry community because I'm not in it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do think, you know, if anybody brings it up, it's just kind of like an immediate cringe reaction.
Exactly.
And that's kind of fucked up.
I am starting to notice, though, I mean, this is a long-winded hot take, just kind of more discussing the furry community, but I am starting to notice, it seems like attitudes in general are starting to change towards that community, which is good. I'm all for it. A lot of people are realizing that they're just, you know, people trying to be a safe haven for the LGBT. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's very much like, especially for like trans people.
I have a question, and this might just be me being like stupid and
Hey, go
ignorant.
for it.
A furry wouldn't be considered in the LGBTQ plus community, right? Because, like, you know, it's
Just
more
being
of
a
a
furry?
kink, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I mean, if it is a sexual thing, it's just more of like a subversion, a small thing. Because it doesn't have to deal with like your alignment or anything, you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I was, sorry. And that's what I thought, but it was just kind of like one of those things that popped in my head, and I was like, are they, or is it just classified as a
No,
kink? Yeah.
that would be like saying watching hentai is classified in LGBTQ. No.
Which is, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a dumb second.
Hey, it happens.
Podcasts are just this generation's version of talk radio, but you can curse in them and kind of talk about whatever you want. But it's talk radio.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, it's sometimes, for the most part, I'd say most podcasts. But I mean, you also have like a lot of Dungeons and Dragons podcasts where it's not even a talk radio, but it's just a session that you're hearing all the banter and the fun stuff that goes on in an adventure or things like that. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, it's just, it's kind of like,
It's making talk radio cool for the youngins.
well, it's like cable television in a weird way. There's just more selection now. You can pick and choose what kind of radio content you want to listen to.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like not owned by the man.
The man. Well, I mean, sometimes it is. Well, I guess not the government.
Yeah.
The FCC, I don't think really does too much with podcasts.
Also, another hot take. I mean, you could just take this as like, I'm a bitter, smaller podcaster, but I feel like it's really annoying that all of the big podcasts are either famous YouTubers or famous people who they're quite clearly just doing it for the money. Like,
I could see where it's coming from.
Yeah, like if you go onto iTunes and you look at their main page, I want to say a good portion of the recommended podcasts are all by TV hosts or celebrities.
I will say when you go to like a website and you're looking for something new, but the recommended page, and I think it really does vary by country because I mean, people have talked about this about like YouTube for a long time. If you go onto the news section of like YouTube, it's all just Fox News, CNBC, shit like that. Whereas if you log into the news on YouTube on literally any other country, it's actually like YouTubers doing news, you know? So it's like, There's a bit more capitalistic control here, but no, I mean, that's definitely a big point. And it happens a lot on Twitch as well, things like that.
Yeah.
The biggest way to grow on Twitch is to bring a community from somewhere else.
Yeah, and like,
so
I mean, I'm not
that's in
saying
any
I'm
platform.
not saying at all like those people who are famous already and are doing podcasts or anything like that don't deserve the money that they're getting from it,
Yeah.
or you know, that they don't enjoy it or anything. But it's kind of
It's a
fucked up.
it's a hard barrier to grow past.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up that there isn't like you know, better new podcasts to listen to, and or the discoverability of like podcasts similar are usually only bigger podcasts. It's hard for discoverability.
Well, there's your problem. Now where's the solution? You could be an entrepreneur. Sell this shit. Let's go. Let's make that big money.
Do you know how to code?
No.
Okay. Find us somebody that can code.
Well, as I was gonna say, if you can't do it, then you just do all the business stuff and you find someone who can.
True. With what money though? This one is just a joke. This is just kind of an inside joke
no.
for the people who've already listened to the podcast. But my hot take is math is related to science.
Thanks, Katy Perry.
Katy Perry, thank
Insert
you.
sound bites and floating ahead of Katy Perry here. Is
You're
math
asking
related
too
to
much
science?
from me.
I was gonna say because we were talking about furries as a sexual kink, and I don't know why when you were talking, I don't even remember what you were saying. I'm sorry, my attention span it's really
It's
small.
okay. I've forgotten literally everything that
But,
we've said so far.
But I was thinking about the conversation, and honestly, I don't even remember the context of where it came from. But right before we started recording, you and Katie were talking about how Tumblr made rabies a kink.
No, this was in the podcast.
That was in the podcast? Huh.
There's a rabies flag.
That was in the podcast? My
Yes.
timeline. It's been a long
Katie,
day.
was that in the podcast?
Yeah.
It's been a long day. Oh man.
You got this.
I'm gonna get there.
To switch roles. I believe in you.
Hot take. Well, it's I don't man.
Hot take,
I
Leah
don't-
can't read.
Hot take, get me out of here. We could bring up anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea. Now, granted, I do say that as someone, I don't get my like yearly
Flu
vaccines.
shot.
Like I don't do like yearly vaccines, but like childhood vaccines, like they're kind of mandated for
A good
pretty
reason.
fucking good reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like granted, I won't lie. I mean, yeah, there could be some bad shit in there, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. And honestly, even if there are cons, fuck, it's better than fucking polio and smallpox, man.
Yeah, I like the use of my legs, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice.
Most times.
I can't remember who it was, but there was this one guy who went to like an anti-vaxxer rally, and he just like went up to like everybody he could find, and he's like, okay, what's your stance on anti-vax? And they're like, vaccinations are the devil, blah 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 blah. And they're like, are you a doctor? No. And like at the bottom it just like had a tally of like all of like, you know, regular people, doctors, 0.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I have so many opinions on medicine and stuff. I think there's good doctors out there, but there
Yeah.
are a lot of doctors that are bought out by big pharma.
Well, yeah, of
it's all about
course.
making a bottom line. You know,
I mean,
you got to drive the new Beamer.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you know.
Okay, Beamer.
I don't
know what that noise that like trailed there.
I don't know.
I don't know what kind of noise that was, but it reminded me of that filter where everything's shaking. It's like
of that Eric Andre thing we
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
earlier. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just anybody in any position. Like, you know, you go to a fucking fast food restaurant, there are some people that are good at their jobs, there are some people that aren't. Same with doctors, same with therapists, same with
literally
anywhere-
everything.
Yeah, anywhere you go. There are people who aren't the best.
Here's a hot take. If you hate black cats, fuck you. Also,
Yeah!
if you don't chew Big Red, fuck you. Ricky Bobby, number 1.
Oh my god. Jesus. Let's see. Hot take. Sleep is a waste of time. I hate sleep. I wish I didn't have to.
I won't say Well, okay. It's so beneficial for you. But yeah, I wish I didn't have to.
Yeah, like
I wish I didn't have to.
If I genuinely didn't have to, I wouldn't. Like,
yeah, I could agree with that. There's not enough time in the day to get all the stuff done that you want to do, especially if you're working a ton, you know, like especially most full-time jobs, at least in this country, are, even though it might say a 40-hour week, it's usually you're definitely getting closer to 50 most times.
Yeah, like I have to take my work home 3 days out of the week, and then I
do your phones.
Yeah, talk to people. It's terrible.
It happens a lot on the podcast, guys. She cuts it out, but she has to take a lot of phone calls when we record usually.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit.
Sometimes I have to be like, hey, phone is ringing there. You need to like handle this.
Yeah, because I'll turn it on silent and like leave the face up so like I can see if anybody's calling me, but like that way you guys don't have to listen to it vibrate or ring or anything. But yeah, I gotta pause the podcast a lot of times. Be like, all right, what's your problem, man? How can I help? Mustard is the best condiment. Ketchup sucks. Ketchup's not a good condiment. It's probably my least favorite.
I straight up zoned out for whatever you just said.
Do you have any idea what I said?
You said ketchup sucks.
Yeah, ketchup sucks. Mustard's the best condiment.
Dijon mustard.
I love mustard. Mustard's so
Thoughts
good.
on mayo?
I like mayo.
Yeah, it's because you're white. Fucking white people.
How do you think I keep this complexion? I just lather myself in it. Jesus Christ. But no, I would probably say the two least favorite condiments for me are ketchup and then barbecue. For me, barbecue kind of goes back and forth, but I think it kind of more so depends on the barbecue.
It definitely depends on the barbecue, but you realize most barbecue sauce
is made of ketchup. Yes, I know.
Is ketchup with sugar.
I'm aware.
Okay.
I'm aware.
Just make sure you're tracking that one, Chief. Just making sure we were all on that same page.
Yeah. This one is more just based on the fact that I'm a cashless hoe and I've unfortunately ran into this issue several times. But tolls should have a card option because we live in the state of Arizona. There aren't any tolls here. And like I was
going to say, where are you getting this from? I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there have been like a couple of like times where I've gone to California or gone out of state where there are tolls.
Kansas.
Yeah, and I genuinely, because we don't have them here, I don't fucking think about it. And like, it's not like I have like an easy pass where I can like just drive through.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I've gotten like a ticket from not paying a toll because I didn't have cash and they didn't have a card option?
And they just like kind of let you through, and they're like, "Well, if you get caught, you're fucked."
You're in a toll. You're in a line. Like you can't, reverse. That's why they have cameras. So they take a snippet of your, license plate, and then they send you a ticket for not paying the toll. It's like, damn it, dude. It's not that I didn't want to pay your toll. Like, sure, bridges are great. Like if you need my money to like keep this bridge or this highway open, fine, take it. But give me a card option. Like I just don't carry cash.
No, it's definitely. This is a weird conclusion to draw. But like when I was living in Nashville, they have a newspaper there called The Contributor, and it's like they give it to the homeless people to sell, and that's how they can make some cash for themselves. But even the homeless people selling those newspapers have fucking square readers. I mean, it's so easy to have a card reader.
It's not hard nowadays. Also. This is piggybacking. Wow, I can't talk today. I'm sorry, guys.
I can't think today. It's okay.
But like anti-homeless like architecture is kind of fucked up.
It's real fucked.
Like I don't think it was
Eat the rich.
Yeah, I don't think it was this year, but I think it was last year in Chicago when they had that like huge like extreme cold going on, and like I think 13 people died in the night from like coldness.
Yeah.
Hypothermia, not coldness. Wow, I'm not stupid. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, it definitely piggybacks. I mean, it's... Oh, fuck. I'm trying to remember. There's a country, I think it might be like Finland or something. I mean, it's usually a Scandinavian country because they're all socialists. Yeah. Those fucking socialists taking care of their fucking people. Fuck them.
How dare they?
How dare they? But it was like something, it was like they did the numbers. And I mean, granted, we are a bigger country. So it is definitely harder to do a lot of things that those Scandinavians and things like that. They definitely have smaller communities. But it's like their country is like looking and they were like, the price of having homeless people in your
City
city is higher than the cost of just giving them like a fucking condo.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. They're just buying them like small, like affordable houses and just like being like, hey, just don't turn it into a crack den and you're fine.
Yeah.
You know? Because a lot of people that are homeless, because, I mean, like I said, Nashville is a very big homeless population. And I used to work downtown. So I would constantly talk to a lot of the people. And I mean, granted, there's definitely a lot of tweakers and shit like that. But a lot of them are just mentally ill. And so it's like there's a lot of shit they can't really fully control. Schizophrenia, things like that.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, why not take care of your people?
Yeah, why not?
It's cheaper. It saves you money. But it's easier to it's easier to criminalize and all that shit.
This was something that I had on my list, but this kind of piggybacks off it in a good way. Is the healthcare system here is hella fucked up. Like, not only for people with just like regular diseases, but like going off of that like mental health thing. So I feel like not saying like if you're rich you don't have mental problems, because you do, everybody does.
Of course.
But I feel like a lot of the times the people who genuinely like need it very, very badly are the people who either can't like take the time off of work to afford it, or like they just genuinely like don't have the health care to cover it, and like it's not very accessible and it's difficult.
Can't raise those taxes though.
Nope.
Got it. Only money we're allotted, it's all for the military. 73% or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
I don't know. This just makes me, we're talking about all this stuff and I'm still thinking about when Leah proposed this podcast idea.
You were like, I don't know what a hot take is.
I don't know hot takes, because for me, a lot of this shit to me is just like, for the most part, some of it is opinion.
Yeah.
But then a lot of it's kind of just like facts. And so it's just kind of like, I don't.
But a lot of people are going to disagree with it. It's controversial.
Yeah, well, a lot of people think Jesus rose from the dead and walked for 3 fucking days or whatever the fuck it's called.
I don't know.
But no, I think, what was my other hot take was going to be, I think.
You had one about California. I don't know if that's.
California sucks.
Yeah, California does suck.
It's overpriced.
Yeah.
The people's personalities, for the most part, they're kind of fucked.
A little bit. Sorry, guys.
And I don't know. It does. I will give it. Every time you would say California sucks, it always boils down to one defense mechanism that every Californian that loves California states. And do you know what that one defense is of the state?
I genuinely don't.
The weather's perfect. Mm-hmm. You're right. It does have great weather. Have fun paying $1 million for your 1,000 square foot apartment.
Like, I mean, this, obviously, I live in Arizona. I haven't always lived here, but, you know, I do live here and whatever, and I like living here. But Arizona has, like, great weather. We don't have earthquakes here.
It is hot. It's hot as fuck.
Yeah, it can get hot as fuck, but, like, air conditioning's the thing.
That's the thing. As long as you don't have to work outside, like, yeah, that's a big one. And that's a big thing, too. A lot of people that will defend the weather are people generally that aren't working outside. And they honestly very, very rarely actually do enjoy their great weather that they experience. Because they're usually working 65 hours a week to pay their rent.
Yeah, true.
You know? One of the thing I was going to say before that, though, is I feel like people in general lack critical thinking. It's getting better by the generation, but I feel like a lot of people are told something, and even when growing up, and that's just the way it is. And it's more of a small town mentality more than anything, but it's all over the place. It's like, you know, it's, I don't know, whether it's on politics or religion or anything like that, you can get told something, and then people are just like, that's the way it is. Yeah. I guess that's it. And they won't even like think about it. And I'm not saying that it's like it's wrong to believe those things. Yeah. But at least like understand why you as a person know. I feel like there's very little self-awareness.
Yeah. Like I'm going to be completely and genuinely honest here. Like for a very, very long time, and like kind of still to like a little bit of an extent, like I'm sorry if you kind of fall in this category, but I'm going to be honest. For a really long time, I thought anybody who was racist, sexist, homophobic, anything like that, for a really long time, I thought they were genuinely like fucking stupid. Like I'm sorry, but yeah. And one thing that I genuinely enjoyed is American History X. Like I know it's a really tough movie to get through, but I think
Which movie?
American History X.
Never heard of it.
It's a good movie, but basically it's a movie about a Nazi. And I think, not saying that Nazis are good or anything that, but they paint the main character, who was once a Nazi, in a very intelligent way, and they do a very good way of depicting at somebody how they can grow up and then like come to these values in their life, instead of just like painting them as like a one surface dumbass and like being educated. They make a very good way of showing how it's like believably how somebody could grow up racist or with like, you know.
Well, isn't that the big thing too? I still haven't seen it. I know I need to, but the recent Joker movie, that's the big thing is, I mean, that's what it kind of got criticism for, but it did a good job at sympathizing with someone who eventually became like a serial killer or like something like that, but just kind of the unfortunate steps that sometimes take place in someone's life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Celebrate mindfulness.
Yeah.
That's your take home. That's not a hot take. That's your take home. That's your homework. Be mindful.
Be mindful. Be better people.
Be a hippie. Do some meditation, man. Smoke the ganj.
Puff, puff.
Marijuana should be legal.
There's a hot take. Marijuana should be legal. Like
now, granted, do I think it? I think marijuana to me, it falls in the exact same category as alcohol. Don't abuse it. Don't be fucking high all the time.
No.
It's like you wouldn't show up to work drunk, get your ass fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, what you do when you go home at the end of the day, especially with something like that, when it really doesn't pose any like alcohol poses really serious health risks.
Yeah.
But
like, I mean, genuinely, this is very hypocritical because when I showed up here, I had been drinking a little bit earlier today, but like genuinely alcohol should probably be illegal. It does a lot of harm for yourself. And like granted, like,
I don't even think it needs to be illegal. It just needs to like it's maybe stricter regulation.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous substance. People can die from it in
People
more than
die all the time from
in
it.
more than one way, which is unfortunate.
Plus, it's a depressant, and if there's anything this country needs less of right now, it's depressants.
What are you talking about? Also, overprescription is just fucked up. This isn't a hot take.
That piggybacks off of the discussion of Big Pharma being fucked.
Yeah. Big Pharma. I genuinely, this is a hot take, I don't think they're ever going to cure cancer or like any major disease because it makes too much money.
There is that fear.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also, man, it's like, this was a hot take that we said in the car, but to me, it's like, I don't even think like half this shit's hot takes. It's just, to me, it's just like, if you think about it, it just makes sense.
Wait
the fact
till
that,
we get comments.
Well, just the fact that Big Tobacco is trying to shut down Juul.
Yeah.
Like, who else is paying for it other than the people that aren't profiting off of someone finding a new nicotine source?
Yeah.
Like, makes you think.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about the kids. They never would have.
Oh, no,
they
don't.
never would have raised the price of cigarettes to 21 without, like the whole Juul thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, Big Tobacco doesn't want that. They want you to smoke as early as possible, especially in your impressionable years.
Yeah, so you can get addicted even sooner.
To me? What?
I don't know. I thought I heard Katie fall.
But, yeah, I think the call to move smoking and all that stuff to 21, I think it's a great call.
Yeah, I think it's a good call.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I'm over 21. So
yeah, that's true.
Doesn't
that's very
really
true.
affect me.
That's true. But it makes sense.
It makes sense.
I'm all for it.
Let's see. We got about like 7 minutes left. What are some other hot takes? I think I kind of got through my whole
I'm phoning
list.
a friend. Katie,
hit us with some hot takes.
I mean, you never once discussed Darth Maul.
Oh, yeah.
What is this Darth Maul thing?
You haven't watched Clone Wars. You wouldn't know. Qui-Gon Jinn's death was cheapened because Darth Maul didn't actually die when Obi-Wan went to kill him. Because if you watch the Clone Wars, you know
he's
Darth
not
Maul's
dead.
resurrected
Yeah.
and ends up dying 2 more times before he actually dies. But basically, it cheapened his death and also took away the power of the Jedi because says that, Obi-Wan didn't actually kill Darth Maul, who was a Sith leader. Basically, Jedi are not nearly as powerful as Sith Lords.
It'd be that way, unless we have the power of friendship.
We do.
I'm not a Jedi.
I'm gonna slap you in your face if you don't high-five me. Thank you.
Hardly a slap.
Oh, because you're my friend. I'm not gonna actually slap you.
Also, another hot take is that all the Harry Potter houses are stupid.
How dare you?
No,
Get out.
whoa.
All the Harry Potter houses are great.
I'm not trying to find excessive amounts of hate here.
That's too controversial.
Edit
Katie.
that out. Just kidding. Boost that.
Okay.
Boost it. Bass boost it.
I hope I can edit it so people can actually hear Katie. Also, LaCroix are weird. I don't get them.
I'm all for LaCroix.
I know you are.
LaCroix is the best. They might have pesticides or whatever in it. Formaldehyde, that's or whatever.
Sponsorship. I'm literally tweeting them.
LaCroix is great.
Don't tweet that, Katie.
In defense of LaCroix, I don't drink soda. I don't drink anything that's like for me, it's coffee and water. But sometimes you just want the bubbly carbonation. And I used to get that carbonation for like Baja Blast, but even then, I keep away from all that sugar shit, yo.
Yeah,
Keeping it real. It's refreshing.
I'll drink LaCroix occasionally, but like I'm not like super into it.
I will say Perrier is better though. That's where it's at.
Don't really care.
Fucking Vaz sparkling if you want to be classy.
Oh man.
Like them Scottsdale bitches.
Them Scottsdale hoes.
Oof.
Another hot take that I have, and like granted, this is just mostly from people that I work with, so if you guys are listening to this, hey dude, what's up? Like, I'm sorry, but you piss me off sometimes. I swear to God, the thing that pisses me off the most is when I hear people complaining about something, and like I'll sit there and give them a fucking solution, and then they don't do anything with it and continue complaining. Like, I understand
Victimization of oneself.
Yeah. But, like, I genuinely, like, I understand, like, if it's something where, like, it's a tough decision or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or, there are multiple people and, like, multiple whatevers involved. But, like, if there is genuinely a solution to what you're complaining about.
Yeah.
And I tell you that solution and you don't do it.
No.
Shut up!
That is a pet peeve. I could definitely agree with that.
It's fucking annoying.
People just want the boohoo sympathies. People fish for sympathy. It's I don't know if it's just a part of human nature, the psychology.
I mean, it is.
Who knows?
People want attention. That's fine. Give people attention, but like, there's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Also, I fucking hate selfies a lot. Like,
they're bad.
Like, I genuinely, I guess not even like selfies. Like, I guess I don't really have an issue with selfies per se, but like, I fucking hate it if I like go out with people and they like just waste 10 minutes taking picture of food, or if they genuinely ask me to take 20 minutes out of my day to take a goddamn fucking picture of you. Like, bruh, stop. It's annoying. Like, just like to be a boomer.
You doing okay over there?
To be a boomer, just fucking enjoy the moment. Like, your picture doesn't matter that much.
If you need a picture, just get a quick snap.
Yeah.
Granted, though, I do like it when people take my picture, but I would never ask someone to do it.
Yeah.
It cheapens it. Makes it terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. It's annoying. I don't like seeing people take pictures all the time. Like, I understand it in some situations, but, like, if you're going to brunch, like, I don't need a group selfie of you guys, and I don't need to watch you try and take one for 20 minutes. It's annoying. I'm just a dick. That's
Hot take. Anime is good.
Hot take, and all anime is trashy. I like anime, but it's trashy.
I don't think all of it's trashy.
All of it's trashy to, like, a little bit of an extent. Or at least, like, mildly cringy.
I could see, I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. There is a lot of good stuff out there.
I'm not saying it's not good.
I will say 85% of it to 90% of it definitely can have its cringy moments. But I'd say there's really good, like, unique, wholesome stuff out there that's really not that cringy.
Can you give me an example?
Most examples would be things like Your Name and Silent Voice, but those are movies. But even, like, Mushishi is just really, like, an aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
You could even say, like, Cowboy Bebop. I'd say there might be, like, some cringe, though, to Cowboy Bebop. But that's older.
Do you want to cut to our trashy anime episode about what you said about Cowboy Bebop? Do you remember what you said?
Said it's overrated. But I wouldn't call it trashy.
It was in our trashy anime episode. Brandon, what the fuck?
See, people change, Leah. People change. We're coming full circle, bitch.
Let people grow, let them change. Fuck, there was one more that I had, but like your Cowboy Bebop shit distracted me. And I can't remember now.
I don't know. My mind's going blank. I'm hitting the like end of the fuse here.
Yeah, we're pretty close to the end of the episode.
There's a lot of good discussion in there, though.
Yeah,
it's pretty fluid.
For a second, I was kind of confused. Oh, I'm not doing okay today. I was concerned that like we weren't gonna be able to fill an hour with hot takes because you didn't prepare shit.
When do I?
Oh, hot take. Brandon, you're never prepared for anything. It drives me up the wall.
But I put on a hell of a performance.
You do, my guy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that
power of magic.
The power of magic and friendship. Yeah, guys, that was our episode this week. I'm gonna be annoying and do this because, like, I just feel like I kind of have to at this point.
D&D's for losers, and I'm a loser.
We literally have a D&D campaign.
Yeah, we do.
He plays a drunken pirate. But anyways, you guys should follow us on wherever the fuck you listen to us. All of our social medias linked down below. If you like us, review us because it helps and stuff. Thanks. See you guys next week.
As the youngins say, yeet. That was a terrible dab.
Do you want to...